People often ask me where to buy yerba mate and recommendations, and I'd suggest going to supporting a local store or a small business if possible. However, if you're living somewhere where you can't, like I once was, and they just don't offer the yerba that you want, check out Pampa Direct. They have the largest supply of yerba mate that I've seen, and I've learned and tried so many from them before that I've never seen anywhere else. But not only yerba, they also have dulce de leche, alfajores, shirts like jerseys, games and snacks like chocolinas, which is one of my wife's favorite cookies. And I found some really great recommendations on there for beginners, such as Don Eregi, which is something I learned about by just trying different stuff there. And also some of my personal favorites, which is Pipore and Aguantadora Despalada. They have great customer service that speaks English, and in fact, they shipped me another package of yerba for free after they had mixed up one of my orders. And they always include like little, extras, like little candies and stuff, which is really nice. And they ship anywhere in the world, and they offer free shipping here in the US with an order of $50 or more. That may change depending on your country. And as a sponsor of the show, they offer 10% off on your first order with the code POWER. Go to yerbamatepower.com/pampa to place an order. Again, that's yerbamatepower.com/pampa. P-A-M-P-A. Pampa. Thanks.
Welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast, where we share the power of yerba mate with the world. Introducing your host, Devin.
All right, welcome, ladies, to the Yerba Power Podcast. I'm joined by Luli and Valen, which I'm sure that's probably for Valentina, or, yeah, okay. And Luli is that short for?
Lucila.
Lucila. I was going to say Luciana or Lucila. Yeah, okay. Which, side note, I know you ladies understand this, but for my American audience, Argentines are very big on nicknames, apodos, and everybody has a nickname. Leo even is not his actual name; it's Lionel, right? But Leo in Spanish is a word that means like a mess, so that's why he doesn't go by Leo; he goes by Leo, even though that's not his actual name. So anyway, side note. So now you learn a fun fact about Argentina. So we were talking a little bit before this, and we'll go back to that topic because I didn't hit record on the Zoom itself. But Luli and Valen are with Kalmateh, which another play on words is like calm yourself in Spanish, but also mate. So I was trying to explain that to some people. Very clever, but also it kind of explained to our non-Spanish speaking friends. But these ladies join me from Kalmateh to talk about some of the health benefits, the scene in where they're living in Miami, kind of how the mate culture, and maybe we can figure out what the disconnect is between the US and the mate culture, why it's not really still new, although it's growing in popularity thanks to Messi and a bunch of other people, but and you ladies as well. Right, definitely, I think you have one thing figured out with Kalmateh is making it more appealing and not so like overbearing of trying to understand like where do I get this cup and all this kind of stuff. So thank you ladies for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So Valen, before I kind of re-recorded this, we were talking about kind of the mate culture and maybe the disconnect and stuff. So I'll let you go there.
Awesome. I think honestly, first we should kind of cover how it got started, like where the idea stemmed from. Actually, Luli started with my mom, and then I joined in later. So I don't know, if Luli, if you want to take over that part. So I'll start.
So who's older here? Is Luli the older sister?
Yeah, she's the older sister.
Okay, that's why. Yep. Are you the first as well?
You're the first, yes.
And that's what it is. I'm the first child as well. It's we're the initiative. But anyways.
So we grew up. I grew up 7 years in Argentina, and then I moved to the States. And within our time in the States, our mom is an avid mate drinker, like all day, every day, without a day, doesn't go by as she doesn't drink mate. So we grew up with like that kind of mentality. And I was working, I'm currently in New York right now, and I was working at a company, at a startup, where I would bring my mate to work every single day. because I work very long hours. I basically didn't see like the sunlight. It's winter. Like mate was like my companion. You understand how it is, that it's like literally like your best friend. So I would bring it to work every day, and I would have like my mate from one place, my thermos from another, a backpack with like my lunch in it. Like it was just like so disorganized, and also it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. And I worked in a place where like looks mattered, but like the quality of the products mattered. It was it was very big in the wellness space, and everything was like specifically curated. So my boss would ask me like, "Where is this from? Like, what is this?" And I'm like, "I don't really know how to explain it to you. Like, where did you even get it from?" And because also at the time, like, mate really wasn't on Amazon, so
Yeah.
and so that's kind of like where the idea began, where I started like having conversations with my mom, and we're like, like mate is so amazing for you, but there's really no place in the States to get it from. Or like maybe you can get like something from one place and this from Argentina, but it wasn't a cohesive place, and it wasn't a product that was easily accessible and that was also like aesthetically pleasing and cohesive. So we are very much rooted in tradition and the values that come with the traditions. So we wanted to create a Yerba Mate brand that also went along with the values of the United States and in the modern world that we're living in, that, you can take your mate to work, and it could be something that's easy to carry with you, and that it's durable, and that it looks very beautiful and it's attractive to the customer. So that was kind of where the idea began. And from then on, we actually started with, we also wanted something that was like hygienic, because as you know, like curing the boards sometimes could be not hygienic if you're not doing it properly. So we wanted to attend to the customer that was kind of a beginner, and that was like that hygiene was very important for us. So that's why we decided to do the double-walled stainless steel cups to start with. And we created our first line with 4 colors, which included the gourd, the 8-ounce gourd with the lid on it, so it was easy for travel. The thermos itself that we had matching sets for, and the bombilla and the sherba, of course, that had to be organic and unsmoked, because I'm a health coach also, and my mom is very into health and wellness, so we wanted it to be as healthy as possible for you also. So that's kind of where it began.
No, that's great. I did want to know that story, and this is, I think, going along that kind of disconnect, and even myself. And look, I am American. Like, I don't pretend to be Argentine. My wife is Argentine, but I get it. Like both sides of that coin, as far as like I can explain it to Americans. Hey, this is kind of how it is. Like, help you understand the other side. And then Argentines, look, Americans don't get it because of this. Kind of trying to be the in between and bridge the gap versus kind of the wall. But and I only really started drinking, we've been married almost 10 years now. And so I really only started really drinking, maybe 6 years or something, or more or less, or maybe, less than 10 years, right? Like I drank with her, right? When she would prepare it and stuff, but I didn't really truly prepare it for myself. And that's when you kind of really, upgrade, I guess, to a true martero. But, and even then, yeah, like you said, it was so hard to get stuff like, we would have to either drive to Dallas, which was like 4 hours away, or like try to find stuff on there. Used to be this other website that I used to order from, but yeah, there was nothing anywhere close nearby. Definitely not Amazon. Yeah. And like you said, it's complicated, like curing a gourd, like that's so complicated to explain. It's not really that complicated, but to explain to someone that's never done it before, and, hey, you do have to be careful because that affects the whole, livelihood of your gourd from here on out. And then, so to your point, like I tell everyone all the time that, start with stainless steel or glass. Easiest, clean it. Number 1, just let her wash it like a dish. 2, like you don't have to worry about dropping it, curing it, any of that stuff, traveling, whatever. So I'm glad you guys were aware of that. And I see it now. It's pretty much everyone's making stainless steel, mates. Even in Argentina now, they're realizing, hey, this is, kind of pointless to make the gourds. But, that's, I guess, what is it? I mean, I get the convenience and like the just general education, right? Of like, here's how to prepare it. Here's how to, like, literally even with when we talked about Danny, like thank you guys for reaching out and helping her, giving her a second chance, because usually that's what happens. It's like, what is this like? And unless someone really kind of prepares for you and gives it to you, like usually you won't get started unless you're drinking, the energy drinks or, whatever. Right. I don't know Would you guys have any insight there about why?
And I'm sure Valen's gonna add into this also. Of course, the first one is convenience, because I think a lot of
American culture, we don't drive through. We want it instantly. Yeah, it's already done.
Exactly.
So mate cocido might be the thing
to sure. So that's why I'm trying to make it like the traditional version, as convenient as possible. Mm-hmm. So like now we have like our backpacks also. You can put like your termo, your mate, your laptop, like your yerba, so you can take it to work with you, because it's not super hard. But we also really honor the traditional method of it. So I think that's one of the things. And I think the other thing that is huge, and I think Valen's going to dive into this now more, is that the taste. I think it's a very taste, and I think it's kind of like coffee or matcha, where like if someone gives you a coffee or a matcha with nothing in it, like with no milk, no sugar, no stevia, no nothing, you drink it, like this is bitter, like what is it's such a fire taste. But then as you start adopting the practice, you're like, oh, I like coffee in my milk, I like a little bit of honey, I like whatever it is to your own taste. And I kind of think it's a similar path with mate.
Yeah, I agree with Luli. I also think if you see it from an outside perspective, it's kind of like an intimidating process to prepare. So we focus a lot on like educating and like, kind of breaking down the steps, like don't boil the water because it's going to be very bitter.
Step one. Yeah.
That's what,
Don't move the straw. Don't boil the water. Yeah. Like go there and you'll be okay for the rest of it. Yeah.
Sure. So we try to focus a lot on like the education behind preparing mate, and not just like, like order a package, you have this, and you kind of don't know where to start. You boil the water, it tastes, you start stirring the straw, and like everything gets in your mouth. So we focus a lot on the education behind it, which is also why Danny, when I saw her video, the first one when she tried mate, I knew that she like had to try again, try it the correct way. And I think what was very impactful with Danny was that for me, it's sometimes very hard to like really express the way mate makes you feel and like the benefits that you feel. And it
is different for everyone.
Like for sure. But I think she expressed it in a way that was very authentic, like truly the way that I think mate makes me feel as well. So yeah.
No, I learned that from her too, is like, I get it. Like we all get it. Like all of us that are in the community, but it's like, how do you put words to it is hard. Like you said, as far as like, how do I explain the mental clarity it gives me? Like, how do you put that into words? Like, and what was it like before and then after? Like, how do you put those into exact words of like, well, the way you drink it and then feel like this, I don't know, fog lifted. Like, how do you, express that, and it's also, you can't experience it till you try it. So try it, Yeah. Well, here's my thought about like the education, because this is not to go off on a rant, but also you see all these Instagram, and I'll admit, I'm on there, right? That everybody makes it look a piece of art and exquisite and perfect with the montanita and all this stuff. And it's like this, even I don't do all that. It's just too complicated and it's unnecessary. And I'm not saying that you can't do that and you shouldn't. I'm saying go for it. I personally don't do it because, like you said, it's complicated and it's unnecessary, but it's also like intimidating. I think it's not as helpful to educate. Like, I don't know. Do you guys have any, I don't know. Think what's do we just need to break it down into smaller steps, maybe?
Yeah, I think kind of like facilitating the process.
Because also you only get a minute and 30 seconds on Instagram, so it's kind of hard to like, here's this whole thing and like a minute 30 seconds. Yeah.
I think that I mean I personally don't do the whole montañita thing either. Like I make like
good. It's I wanted another Argentine to say it. No one else will come out and admit it, but
you're not the only one. I'm also
that was never a thing, right? that's only been a thing recently
And even like
from whatever.
like I don't think mom ever
Okay.
did it for me either.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not the Argentine, but like I asked my wife, I was like, has this been a thing? It's like, no, this was never a thing. Like this is just a Instagram deal. It's like, okay, good. Cause I was like, no one ever taught me that, you know?
Whoever like has like the time to do it's a really beautiful part of the ritual per se, I think
Sure.
so. But at the same time, like for me personally, I think mate is a very personal thing to each individual.
Mhm.
For me, it's about like the benefits, the feeling that I get. I use it mostly like when I wanna like for work, for concentration, for those kinds of benefits. So for me, like the ritual aspect isn't my my specific focus. So
Yeah.
So I think it's very like bio individual. Like however someone makes their mate, I don't think there's a right way.
Yeah.
I think there could be a little bit of wrong ways, like moving them on beach shower, boiling your water.
Sure. Yeah, there's certain rules to not follow, yes, but or to not break. Yeah. Well, that's a great point though about the individualistic, and I think this is another highlight for Americans and understanding the Latino culture that mate is meant to be shared. However, here in America, we're very individualistic, and each person has their own thing. And that's fine because you can have your own path and your own experience and everything as far as how you prepare it. No one, if they don't want to drink after you because you prepare it that way, well, that's your right as a cebador. But ultimately, you know, it's better together. And like you said, the individualistic thing, like, yeah, I kind of for mental clarity, health, but honestly, kind of just for energy, really. I mean, just straightforward. And my wife is more all about the social aspect. Like that's her thing for getting together with friends and stuff. But you know, to each their own, and none of them are wrong. So,
I actually wanted to bring out a point up that you just mentioned because I think at first we were getting a little bit of backlash from like, this was one of like our core values as a company initially, was that we started with each person with their own mate before even COVID hit. So we started something in 2018 and that was one of our core values then. We still see it very much as like a social aspect, but because we also focus so much on like the hygiene of everything, like we personally as a family grew up not sharing our mates. So for us, but it was still very social. Like we would each get together, but each person had their own mate, but we just wouldn't pass one mate around for everyone. So I think that also taps into like the bio individuality of everyone. And also, I think during COVID, a lot of people saw that side of hygiene.
Oh yeah, that's where it's super exploded. Yeah, we're cada uno con su mate, like everybody.
That was actually one of our core values when we first started it as well.
Well, that's interesting. It's good to know. You know, and that aspect of it as far as hygiene. You know, I mean, let's face it. You know, it is awkward for anybody. You know, as far as sharing a straw, unless you.
Especially for like Americans, also that's like a big thing.
Yeah,
like one shares.
I get it. Yeah.
One shares their straws. You know, so
yeah,
that's a part of it.
Unless you're a dad and you eat after your kids all the time. So I mean, it's no big deal for me. You know, I'm always cleaning their plates. So
with your friends, like
no, I get it. Yeah, no, just kidding. Well, I did want to see kind of how, like, okay, since Valen, you're in Miami right now, right? I assume.
Yeah.
And Luli, you're okay. So now I'm curious because those are two big international communities, a lot of Argentines as well. What's kind of the scene in those two areas as far as, you know, how does that look?
As far as Miami, honestly, it's full of Argentinians, Latins in general, but now more than ever, I see mate almost everywhere I go. You know, you walk into a market, Whole Foods has yerba, like it's really, it's been growing a lot, I think, in the States in general, but like I see it in Miami because I'm, now that Messi is here, everyone is curious to try what mate is, and you know, the curiosity has definitely increased in general. So it's been great. There's a lot to do.
And as for New York, I definitely see there's like a huge potential of growth here. I don't think we're there yet with the mate culture. Besides like a few people who like had Argentinian roommates in college or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably a different, you know, city and the way that it behaves and more fast paced and less, you know, like even faster as far as convenience wise, right? I'm sure they're even more like, I don't have time to even, I don't have even 2 minutes to make mate. Like,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, okay.
I feel like they would benefit so much from like the mate benefits instead of having like 5 shots of espresso a day, like a lot of New Yorkers do.
Mm, mm. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, well, anyways, another topic is because try to show people, on my page too, of like, hey, you don't have to do it this way. Like, I learned this actually from someone else, but putting it in the coffee maker and brewing it that way, like that was for me even, because like, man, that's great. Then I don't have to like do anything. Just put it just like I would coffee, except it's yerba mate. Then
Sometimes when I just want like a cup of tea with it with
yeah, and French press too. Yeah, it's another like those things. It's like you can still enjoy it and basically do substitute, and you still get all the benefits and everything else, and you don't have to, add sugar or well, unless you want to, but you don't have to necessarily. It's going to be less bitter too, and you don't have to default to coffee or an energy drink, because there's nothing around. Any other, I don't know, thoughts in general about yerba mate in the US or I don't know, any questions you guys might have?
I definitely think that like you already said, it's still very in like the growth, side of things. I think I connected a lot to matcha, which like it's also a ritual and it's like when you prepare it, it's a whole experience with the whisk and stuff. So I definitely think it's like a lack of knowledge for mate that people think it's just like hard, long, it takes a bunch of time to process. I make my mate in like 3 minutes in the morning. I take it on the go.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's like a long way to go with mate. I think it hasn't nearly exploded yet in the US. Like mate lattes, like you already said in the French press, like there's just so many different ways and the benefits and the way I personally feel when I drink mate. I love coffee, but I know that mate is it for me. It's not the same type of energy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I definitely like it. It's very exciting to see people so intrigued with mate because I'm like the number one believer that like we can only go up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's so much potential. It's. I mean, even though it's more popular, it's still completely untapped. Because I mean, let's face it, there's 400 million people, and maybe 400,000 people even know about it. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely, even if there's 10% of the U.S. population at 4 million, like there's still a ton. So. And I think my biggest concern too when we talked about like health too is like this is an easy solution and you don't like lose anything. It's like you still get the benefits, but you don't have any downside to it other than convenience. I mean, it's not even well. Let's find a way around that.
Yeah, the health benefits of mate are amazing, and like that's what we really want people to also know that like it's not just like a caffeine drink. You also got so many health benefits along with it.
Yeah, please talk about some of those because, I get it as far as drinking it and I know some of the things, but I think most people, even those that do drink it, don't really actually know all the science behind it, the history behind it. They just know that they like it, things about it. So like some of the specific things as far as antioxidants, GLP-1, like these are some things that even I've learned about GLP-1. I didn't know about that. And the way that the theobromine, theophylline, I didn't know about that until I learned it from actually the community around me. I mean, so maybe you could just talk about some of those things also.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like in a general perspective, like it really like it like boosts your focus, your motivation, your concentration because of what you just said, the bromine and the theophylline. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Believe me, it's a new word for me too. Theophylline is what I assume is how it's pronounced, but I'm not a scientist. I just learned some of this stuff from a Huberman lab and from other people tell me about it. Like, oh, okay, I didn't know those chemicals, and then but
yeah, so like because of those compounds, it's like very like the caffeine kick that you get from coffee versus mate is very different because like you don't get like the jitters or the crash that you normally get with coffee after drinking it. So like mate is a very clean, sustained energy kick. And it really does, like I personally see tremendous difference in my days of when I drink mate versus I don't when it comes to like my focus, my concentration, my energy levels. Like I strongly believe that mate is like the best natural pre-workout in the world. Like there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Tell me more about that because I've seen little bits here and there and stuff, and they've been hard to find exact proof on it, right? As far as they've tested athletes and stuff, and I've seen different articles. I don't know, speaking to your own personal athletic experience, I mean, I run is my kind of main athletic thing, and I'll be honest, I usually don't drink mate right before. I usually just go out the door and run, and then I'll come back and drink mate. But I've also seen it as it can be a recovery drink. Actually, I've seen in that, but there's obviously something to it with all the soccer players drinking it, and so.
Exactly. And it's not just like the Argentinian or Uruguayan soccer players anymore. It's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a guy I just found out now here in Nashville. He's like Haitian American, and he was coming up, saw him picture with his mate and his gourd, and I was like, hey, he gets it. Like, I don't know how he found out, but there we go.
Yeah, like scientifically, I cannot speak for, but just by my own personal journey with that, and just by seeing like very professional athletes incorporating that into their pre and post workout routines, it's just, I think it's magical, honestly. Like,
when do you typically drink mate? First thing in the morning or like during lunchtime?
I'm a big coffee drinker as well, so I'm not going to deny the fact that I also love coffee, but I normally have coffee in the morning and I drink mate right after lunch when I start to get like the afternoon slump. That's when I drink mate, but not too late in the evening either. So probably around 2 to 3 p.m. that's when I drink mate.
Yeah, typical tea time, right? Yeah.
I drink it in every morning, like before the gym. I'm on my way to the gym with my mate and thermos in the car. It fits perfectly in the car holder, so it's amazing. The days where I don't, or like maybe I'm running a little bit late and I just run out the door, I definitely feel a difference. Like, first of all, I call mate like my happy drink. Every time I drink mate, I'm in a good mood. No matter what day, it flips my day around. But I definitely notice the difference in like my strength, my energy, my like focus in my workout. So I personally like to drink it in the morning rather than in the afternoon. But it's a preference thing.
Well, Luli, what maybe have you noticed personally in your personal experience as far as athletic performance, as you said? Like, have you anything that you could maybe pinpoint?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I noticed that I don't take like any pre-workouts ever, like because I think they're synthetic and I just don't think they're good for you. But the times that I do drink mate, I usually actually work out a lot of times in the mornings, but when I drink mate, I work out in the afternoons. Normally, I'm very drained from my workouts in the afternoon. That's why I try to put them in the morning. But when I drink mate before a workout, I'm just like, my effort goes from like 80% to like 110. It's just a different story completely. And I feel so much stronger, so much more focused in my workout. Really able to like be present in the workout and just, having those energy levels, like Valen said, like the happy drink, like I genuinely feel that as I'm working out, because it's like the happy drink plus the endorphins. So I think like the potential gets so much larger when I drink mate.
And there might be something to that too, as far as boosting the endorphins, and which obviously you get through the workout as well. So something to think about. But I think more than anything, who cares about the science if it works? I mean, try it for yourself and prove me wrong, I guess, I have seen some
regarding like how you feel, only one can tell like the amazing benefits.
True that. Well, ladies, Kalmateh is obviously, a company that has their own yerba. They have thermoses, obviously the cups, the mates, the bombillas, the straws, backpacks. Anything else? Any other projects you guys got going on, or anything you guys want to talk about as far as Kalmateh?
Yeah, and we actually also incorporated a coffee line of drinkware as well for people who, are coffee lovers. But it is mostly a Yerba Mate company.
To secretly like lure them in.
Yeah, exactly. We will learn them for the coffee and then we make them.
Hey, I see you like coffee, but actually, if you want something better.
Exactly. But no, we're working on some new exciting products that we want to incorporate into the line. Nothing that we can share just yet, but stay tuned because it's very exciting.
Yeah, you can follow them on Instagram. Is there anywhere else you guys are posting stuff or up to date? TikTok? Okay, apparently I need to get on TikTok because everybody keeps saying that. So, and that's where it's at. Okay, well, maybe I'll finally do it since everyone else has been getting on to me about that. So, well, Well, let me ask you, what is maybe the most popular things you guys sell? Let me ask that. Is that a easy or is that a hard question to answer?
I think our yerba is number one. If you really taste like the quality of it, we like sourced from like last we were sourcing for the yerba, we were looking for like very specific taste and beneficial health qualities to it, such as unsmoked, organic, a smooth, clean taste that like isn't too overpowering because we're trying to target a newer audience. So we really have we think we have the best quality yerba on the market. So that's one of our most popular products, and also honestly all of our sets are pretty great too. Like they're very popular because like they're matching sets and they're very high quality, durable. And yeah, I think I would say those are the most popular. Would you buy it?
You guys have like that push button kind, right? Yeah. Yeah,
There's that one, and then there's another model.
But yeah, I definitely agree on the yerba. We get we get great reviews on people who are just starting out, but also people who are avid mate drinkers. So I definitely think that's a bestseller. And yeah, as Luli said, the sets, all the gourds, the thermoses are great.
Well, yeah. I'm ashamed to admit that I actually haven't tried you guys yerba yet. So I'll have to do a review of it then for to validate you guys for that. So I can speak into that because I feel actually a little embarrassed that have it since I've been just trying everything else. And well, can just real quickly, just this is for myself and other people have asked me this about the unsmoked and smoked. So I don't personally drink smoked yerba because I just don't like the taste of it. Period. And so I just don't even get it. But there's been talks about the difference, like cancer effects and stuff like that. Is there anything maybe briefly you could say about that?
Yeah. So the reason we chose unsmoked versus smoked is because smoked contains a compound called PAH, which they're basically chemicals that are carcinogenic. So it's anything that's smoked. So think like anything that's like barbecued meats or coal, whatever it is, like that contains a PAH.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally carbon coming off. I mean, let's face it, yeah.
Exactly. So it's really not the best for your body. And especially when it's a product that you're consuming all day, every day, it could lead up to maybe not so beneficial issues that could arise. So that's why we need
easier just to avoid it all in general, right?
Exactly. And like if it's also like we would never because we don't put that into our own bodies, it's not something that we would sell to the public. Like we only sell something that we and that we
for sure
can buy. So that's I think that's the biggest difference between unsmoked and smoked that I would share.
Wonderful. Well, give a big hug to your mom for me and tell her thank you for spreading the good vibes of Yerba Mate to the world, especially in the US. I know that's one of our missions in general is, hey, trying to get our country on board. Well, unless there's anything else, we'll include all that in the show notes, and I'll put the episode up with everything here shortly. I don't know, anything else you want to say to the listeners before we kind of head out?
I just want to share that, like, if anyone ever has any questions or comments or anything, that just to always reach out to us, because that's our biggest passion. And also our customer satisfaction is always our top priority, and education about mate. So always feel free to reach out to us with anything.
Yep. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You have their permission to blow up their social media and send them all kinds of messages. You can do the same. I think with probably anybody that is really posted about your mates, I would dare say is very passionate about it and would be more than willing to help you along with it, because why else would you start posting about it if you didn't care about it, right? Because to me, that's kind of the whole why about it is like, and I think when we all try it, we want everyone else to experience all the great things that we're experiencing. So that's why we do it. I mean, I'm sure you agree. But ladies, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to great things and hearing the news. follow them on Instagram or TikTok and you'll find more. And thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Thank you for joining me once again on another episode of the Yerba Power Podcast. We mentioned Danny in that episode. She was on my previous episode, episode 9. Danny shared her story and experience with learning about Yerba Mate. A really great story you should check out. And if this is your first time listening to the Yerba Power Podcast, thanks for joining us. Hit the subscribe and follow us. That way you don't miss the episodes because I'm going to start releasing weekly after this. So thank you. Talk to you soon.